What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the
Geek Buddies!
Hey! It's our weekly Friday show, and we are so excited to dive into all the stuff that's going on in the world of entertainment. Just already in the 2 days since our last show, we've already had so much to talk about here on this show. We're going to get into some stuff going on in the world of Marvel, including Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts. We'll talk a little Supergirl stuff, and we're going to get into what's going on at these Minecraft movie screenings that are causing people to lose their damn minds. So there's so much we're going to get into here. But first, let's introduce ourselves. I am John Rocha, writer, producer, and host here on the Geek Buddies.
I am Michael Vogel, writer and producer of animated TV shows and movies.
And this is Shannon McClung. I'm an animation writer and a television actor where you can see me now on the full 15-episode season of The Pit. I'm not in every episode. I'm in 2 of them. But it's a really good show, and you should go watch it.
It's intense.
Yeah.
That show's intense.
I heard the finale was amazing, and that a lot of people are now trying to get Noah Wyle nominated for a Best Lead Actor Emmy and possibly a victory.
I'm first of all, I think he's 100% getting nominated. Like he's for sure getting nominated, and I think there's a decent chance he could win. Like people don't. There's a lot of people sleeping on The Pit. I was one of them. I watched my buddy Shannon in his 2 parts, but other than that, I didn't. But then I went back in and watched the whole thing. It's fucking great.
Okay,
like it is a great show.
It has been on Max's top 10. You know, when you go onto the platform, they have their top 10 shows in the country, and it has been number 1 or number 2 pretty much since it has started. Wow. And fully agree. Wow. Like everyone on the show is real. That entire regular cast, they're all exceptionally talented, but it is all resting on Noah Wile's shoulders. Like he did an incredible job.
It's actually, this is probably worthy of like a Geek Buddies conversation one day, not today because we have too much to talk about, but we cover all the shows that obviously all of our listeners want to talk about. Like we cover the Daredevils, the Skeleton Crews, we talk Rings of Power. We talk the geeky stuff, and all of the streamers have like spent a lot of money on that geeky stuff. But truth be told, when we start looking at ratings, the returns aren't always there. Like Star Wars struggles to get the viewers. Marvel is struggling to get the viewers on TV. But meanwhile, you've got the Taylor Sheridan shows. You've got The Pit. You've got some of these shows that like the whole world is watching and talking about. Like my parents are like, have you watched The Pit? My sister was like, did you watch The Pit? So like, it is interesting. Like, there's the geek shows that we all love that sometimes we love, sometimes we find problematic, but there's this whole other realm of shows on streaming services that are really kicking ass and are really high quality, good stuff. Get some of those showrunners to come do our geeky shit, and then I think we'll be off to the races. But
that's a great point.
Yeah, I saw Taylor Sheridan doing a Jonah Hex series.
Ooh,
I mean, yeah,
I like that.
Billy Bob Thornton, just take Landman and give Billy Bob Thornton like the Jonah Hex face, and just do the same show, and I would watch it.
Yeah, and I saw someone post that The Pit deserves all its plaudits, even more so for giving us 2 of our best Nepo babies. And they were talking about Fiona Dourif, who is Brad Dourif's daughter, and Taylor Dearden, who is Bryan Cranston's daughter. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Good talent, good stock there, delivering good performances, it seems like.
They are both great.
Yeah. And that's what you want when that situation pops up. So let's get into, but we're not here to talk about The Pit or, mainstream high-end television. We're here to talk about a lot of geeky stuff and nerdy stuff here. And I just want to say the way we're going to do things today, I'm going to toss out the subjects, hear from these 2 gentlemen what they think, but we're going to start off, and then we'll get to our main topic. And our main topic is going to be breaking down that EW article on the Fantastic Four with some new details and new approaches to these characters that are bound to get some tongues wagging. So that's going to be our main topic. But we should start with this topic, and with a disclaimer, we are going to reveal and talk about these Supergirl set photos. There's not that many. There's only a couple. Or 3, but like if you have an issue with seeing sneak previews or seeing leaks of set photos, then you can skip ahead to the next topics. The time codes are down below, so you don't have to worry about that. But we're going to get into it, so just revealing that now. I'm going to do that now, so skip ahead if you want to. But if not, and you're sticking around, here we go. So as production continues on DC Studios' Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in London, here is our first look at Millie Alcock suited up as the Girl of Steel. The photos are, of course, not the clearest, as you guys can see there. But despite the distance, the images do reveal that the suit has a comics accurate blue and red color scheme. It also looks like she's on top of a tank preparing to do battle. A lot of people think it might be Lobo, Momo's Lobo, that she is fighting there. And of course, recently James Gunn referred to Supergirl in his recent BTS post, and the trades follow suit in their coverage, leading to the speculation that the Woman of Tomorrow subtitle has possibly been dropped as well. So not only do we have these set photos, but there's a possibility this will be called Supergirl, just as Superman Legacy was reduced to Superman. So this is an interesting situation. So, Michael, I go to you first. There's our resident super family expert. Your thoughts on the look and the appearance here, and do you think James Gunn is dropping Woman of Tomorrow to just make it Supergirl?
Maybe. We'll see. I think that, for people who are listening, you're not missing too much in the photos that are revealed. But I think the big thing that this is so weird. I don't know if I'm going to step into something. You can let me know in the comments. But like the thing that I like about this is a skirt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think of all the things that we're seeing here, like it looks like Supergirl. Like you see these blurry photos. It's the Supergirl outfit. She's got the S on her chest. It's the red, yellow, and blue. Like there's nothing in here that's shocking. But I think given what a lot of studios have done, what a lot of comic book publishers have done in the past several years, if you have a female character who has a suit that looks overtly feminine in some ways,
risque,
not even so risque is one thing. Like I have no problem. Like there's costumes like Power Girl. There's costumes like I 100% agree that when you have men walking around in full skin tight suits and women wearing basically bikinis, okay, guys, maybe let's give the girl a little bit more to wear. So I'm not saying let's just show all the skin on the ladies. But I also think that we sort of overcorrect sometimes. And so we're like, oh gosh, we can't, no skirts, no this, let's put her in the suit. And I think that with Supergirl, I think this is kind of an iconic look for her. And I think what's going to make Supergirl a feminine icon or a character where females are like, I don't like this, has nothing to do with whether she wears a skirt or not. It's the personality. It's the power set. It's the story. So if all of that stuff is working, Supergirl can wear a skirt and it's fine. And so I think what's interesting here is that the comics accuracy includes us. I mean, I'm not saying let's put all the ladies in skirts and have them make food in the kitchen. Like I want Supergirl to be a badass, but I think it's cool that we don't like overcorrect. And I do think that sometimes in our effort to go, let's correct every sin of the past, we end up sort of losing stuff that is part of the iconography. And so that's the main thing that I took away from this.
Yeah. What about you, Shannon? What do you think of these photos? Did you like the look? Did you like what seems to be happening action-wise with her? What are your thoughts there?
I mean, in terms of like what's actually transpiring in the photo, like this clearly looks like a pretty far away drone shot. Like it is pretty fuzzy image. But yeah, I mean, this looks like a classic comic book image of a hero battling a potential villain on top of some sort of alien tank. I mean, to Vogel's point about the skirt, I mean, I think just because you're a badass doesn't mean you can't wear a skirt. I mean, the skirt does not negate being a badass. So I mean, I do like that even the subtle changes that James Gunn made to the Superman outfit, that they went more with the kind of that new 52 look with the raised collar. These costumes typically, especially now, they typically change from movie to movie because that's how you sell more toys. Is you make the action figures look different. So even within the new 52ness of his costume, that's Superman. Yeah. Looking at Supergirl from a distance, that is Supergirl. So, I mean, I like the look that they've chosen to go with. I mean, our buddy JG actually found a potential leaked design that he sent to the three of us. That he found on the internet.
That was artwork, but yes.
But I mean, that looks like a concept sketch, and it looked good. As to them dropping the Woman of Tomorrow, I think wherever he posted, I mean, there might be just a character limit. So, I mean, saying Supergirl versus Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I mean, it's the movie that's being made right now. But also, I mean, maybe they're dropping the Woman of Tomorrow because it is using Tom King's run as inspiration, but maybe they don't want that direct comparison. Or again, maybe it's just a character limit. Who knows?
Yeah. I have to say, I agree with you guys. I like the look. I've never been a person who cared about the skirt one way or another. Pants, skirt, sure, whatever. I mean, I know Melissa Benoist said she was really happy when they went to pants on the series, so she wasn't so cold. So there's a practicality to it, but that's the difference between a series and a movie, right? So you get the chance here to do something like this, and I like the approach here that they're taking in terms of the look and the design. It's a bright red, it's a bright blue, so I like that color is standing out in her own way. And there's a strength in the movement. If you see the video, we're not going to play the video because I don't know what the rights are with the video of that. So the pictures are fine, but there's a movement there that I like about how she's playing Supergirl. So to me, overall, you look at these photos and you think, okay, this looks good. This looks like we're in some good hands here in the approach that they're taking. And it feels very much going back to the origins of the look of Supergirl. As far as dropping Women of Tomorrow, I mean, I feel like I don't care either way. I mean, the story is clearly going to be based on Woman of Tomorrow, but maybe they're making some changes, as Marvel did with 52 and with Civil War and other things. You make changes. And so it's no surprise that they might make some changes to the overall story. So it's maybe not a direct adaptation, but certainly there are elements of it from there that they're using for the overall story. So it feels like it fits the consistent branding. They went from Superman Legacy to Superman. You go from Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow to Supergirl. It seems to me like you're staying on brand with the kind of approach you want to take, which is a new interpretation of these things. And just because there was a Supergirl movie already, it doesn't mean you can't make another Supergirl now, as we're seeing with the Superman that we're getting from James Gunn. So yeah. I wish we got some shots of Lobo. There are some shots of armor hanging on hangers, but I don't know what much you can tell from that. I think more we wanted to talk about what the overall look is. So
I mean, look,
yeah.
Momoa is Lobo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you watch Momoa in Aquaman, he's Lobo. Yeah. If you watch Momoa in the Minecraft movie, he's Lobo. Of all the things that I am curious and concerned about and excited about the Supergirl movie, Jason Momoa is going to kill this role because it's Jason Momoa. Like, it is like he is the same person.
It's true. Another positive I like is the cape. I like that it's big and flowing and all the way down. I like the cape, like the look of and the size of the cape is another thing that I really enjoy as well from these photos. So, all right. Well, there we go. Anything more to say on these, or shall we move on?
You know what I'm excited? I was trying to think. Like, I think I'm a little bit. I don't want to say I'm more excited for Supergirl than Superman, because I'm definitely very excited for Superman. But I think what is cool for Supergirl is that movie doesn't have the pressure on it that Superman does.
No, not even
like
close.
Superman has as we've talked about, like just Superman has so much pressure, and every single shot and moment and clip and everything that's released, the internet just goes into a fucking frenzy, and it's absolutely insane. And I just feel like that pressure is so heavy on a movie. Whereas Supergirl, it's like they're gonna go do some wild shit. It's gonna be Supergirl in space. Like, even if it's remotely based on the Tom King run, it's going to be a wild fucking ride. And I just feel like there's a bit more freedom to what they get to do without the internet. It's kind of even our discussion here. Like, we talk about a Superman clip that comes out. The first time they showed Superman in his suit sitting, like tying up his boots, the internet lost their mind. And it's like, should Superman be sitting? Shouldn't he be heroic? Shouldn't he do this? We get a fuzzy photo of Supergirl and we're like, yeah, cool, excited. Let's see it. So I just feel like there's like a lightness to talking about Supergirl. Whereas every time Superman comes up, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what are people mad about now?
That's a great point. There's a hopefulness for Supergirl, and there's more of a critical eye for Superman. That's a great point. There's a big ball behind him. Why is he tying his shoe?
Why is there a big ball? Why isn't he taking care of the ball? That's not how people fly.
All right, well, let's move on to another subject here. Another nerdy superhero movie that is coming out very soon, and this one is, and that is Thunderbolts here. Thunderbolts, according to tracking, Thunderbolts is headed for a domestic debut in the $63 to $77 million range. When did $14 million become an acceptable amount of money between ranges here in this whole thing? With a target number of $70 million, it should be within $5 million. While a fair number in and of itself, that's on the lower end of the MCU. Disney insiders say there's plenty of room for growth, though, noting that the film's ragtag team of anti-heroes and villains are making their appearance on this big screen for the first time, so they aren't a known property. Advanced ticket sales, unfortunately, were a little on the slower side. The studio says the response to the film has been strong, though, among those who got to see early screenings, including some of the theater owners at CinemaCon. And several of the exhibitors told THR the film looks potentially fun and appealing. The $70 million estimate puts the movie in the same ballpark as Thor, which opened at 65, Eternals at 71, and Shang-Chi at 75. But, those were all, I don't know, those are interesting comparisons to make, and Captain America Brave New World opened at 88.5. So, Shannon, there was a lot of talk about them being worried about Thunderbolts that had crept in with the excitement people were feeling about the trailer. So does this give a little more validity to what you think, or what people were saying, that this doesn't have as much brand recognition as other people were anticipating?
I mean, not really, just because, one, it's 3 weeks out. And also, post-COVID, some of that tracking is not always reliable. In that article in the Hollywood Reporter, they specifically mentioned Twisters, which was forecast at 55, and it came out at 80. Yeah, so, true. I mean, one, this is the first big movie of the summer, and even though Marvel is not the behemoth that it is still a behemoth. And when you have a Marvel movie come out, I mean, say it does make 70 million. If it is a good film, if it has strong word of mouth, it's going to hang around for a second. I mean, even if it doesn't top out at $1 billion, one, it looks like, there aren't all these stories about them having to do multiple sets of reshoots. So if they are able to keep the budget down, a $70 million domestic opening, that's great. That's great. Let it hang around for a little bit. I mean, I think this is kind of where Marvel wants to be with a property like this, is like, let's set the bar here. Let's try to over deliver rather than under deliver. And like with Captain America, even though it's a Captain America film without Chris Evans, it's still a Captain America film. And there was still the addition of Harrison Ford. There were a lot of things that were in it, like, that people did want to check out. And it kind of fell off because the movie, wasn't the strongest. Something like this, again, like, let it have its legs. I mean, I think they would be far more worried about a $70 million opening for Fantastic Four than they would be for Thunderbolts. But right now, I think this is actually a good position for them to be in.
Mm-hmm. I think so. When you make a great point, Michael, and chime in on this as well, please, your thoughts. But like, if once they start screening it for reviewers and more public reviewers, and they get to speak about their reactions, I think that's going to up the excitement on it. Because this thing right now is, there's the rumors all over the place here that they estimate the budget to be $200 million. So you kind of want this to open in the $100 million range. Although, you would say 70 is not bad, Michael, but 100 would be much better. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I think to Shannon's point, like, nobody actually knows. We talk about it, and you put your estimates out there, and then it's good. It's going to be above, it's going to be below, it's going to be on the money. I don't know. Here's what I know about Thunderbolts, and it's two things. One, if you live on the internet, like the three of us do, and you're watching YouTube videos, and you're on social media, and you're on Twitter, the early buzz is positive. Now, you can absolutely say that happens all the time. We have heard that everything from The Flash to Captain America to Snow White was amazing on the internet. And then you go see it and you're like, well, I don't know what they're talking about. But it's sort of the specificity of the buzz right now. Like, people are like, if you are tired of, like, the things that I hear and I keep reading over and over again are, if you're tired of superhero movies, I encourage you to check this one out. This is a different kind of superhero movie. This is very about these characters. This is very unique. Like, people, they're not just going, like, what you usually get is the hardcore Marvel fans that are like, we're back, baby. Marvel's back. We love it. But like that, we're getting a very different kind of thing. And the other thing that I notice, and I always notice this, we talk about it all the time with our friends. I've had, I always buy tickets for a bunch of us to go see the movie on opening night when the tickets go on sale. We already have our tickets for Thunderbolts. But I buy tickets for all my friends. And in the last few Marvel movies, I don't get texts from anybody else asking when we're going. For Thunderbolts, I got 4 different text messages this week because they went on sale Monday. Be like, did you get tickets for Thunderbolts yet? I want to go see this one. Oh, can we come? Can we join you for Thunderbolts? And I've had other people being like, what's the buzz on Thunderbolts? Like, everybody, even our non-comic book friends, are taking notice of this one. And I just think my gut is telling me that this is the one where people are like, okay, more like this. Give us more of this. I think that Captain America, again, it's a pressure thing. Captain America, Brave New World, first movie with Sam as Captain America. Marvel's been in a slump. Let's get back on track. Oh, the movie's a mess. We need to do a bunch of reshoots, bring the Russos in to kind of fix it. There was so much pressure on it. And that pressure was very apparent when you watched the movie. It looked like a Frankenstein movie. Thunderbolts has just been chugging along under the radar. John didn't think the movie was fucking happening for 8 months. Said it was going to go away. Like, nobody was, Thunderbolts, yeah, Black Widow, Red Guardian, I guess Bucky's in this one. I don't know. Like, we don't know. And it just kind of chugged along. And to Shannon's point, we didn't hear, I'm sure there were reshoots because it's a Marvel movie, but like, we didn't hear about massive reshoots. We didn't hear about the story changing drastically. It just feels like this movie is what it is. They knew what they were doing with it. It's coming out, and the trailer is very clear. There's no Avengers around. They're not here like they were when the Chitauri attacked New York. Now there's a new threat to New York, possibly made by the government, and it's their own goddamn fault. But here's this threat, and there's nobody else to fix it, and it's just these losers. Like, great, I got it. Let's go to the movies and see it. So I have a feeling it's going to do really well. If I had to guess, I would say it's going to perform above expectations on opening weekend.
Yeah, but it feels like it might. But there's two ways to look at this, because there is one way to look at it like, well, they've got these really good actors to be a part of this who have, certainly we saw with Sebastian Stan and the response to The Apprentice and the response to A Different Man. This was very positive for him. Florence Pugh has been a name that a lot of people know now over and over and again about the work that she's done. Wyatt Russell, Hannah John Kamen, Julie Louis-Dreyfus. So you've got, and David Harbour, who, just is working all the time in Stranger Things Around the Corner. So you have names that are known in large sections of society, but then you have an A24 approach. So is the A24 approach with Jake Schreier directing it, is that going to be a positive? And as you said, is it going to be people really excited, or is it going to turn off some people who want to see more big bang type of approach to things if it doesn't have that? So it's going to be curious to see what the reactions are to it. Yeah, go ahead. You want to add one more thing, Michael?
No. Well, yeah, I was just going to say, like, just in terms of Marvel movies, I think where Marvel wins, and this flies. I think studio executives a lot of time feel like, oh, people don't want to do the homework. This movie has to stand on its own. Let's not tie into too many other things. But there is something to be said for that feeling of continuity. And I think where Thunderbolts really has been working from the get-go is, hey, here's a team. They're losers. And if you watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, Wyatt Russell's a loser.
Yeah.
If you watch Black Widow, Red Guardian's a loser. Florence Pugh, Yelena's not a loser, but she's fucked up. She doesn't know where she fits. So like this whole, and Bucky is still, he's running for Congress, but Bucky's had his demons too. So you just took a bunch of characters from the MCU that if you know the MCU and you've been watching it and you go, hey, these guys are all losers.
Yeah.
And you're like, I get it. But if you've not watched that stuff and you only sort of peripheral get it, you're like, I still understand this by looking at the trailer. So I just feel like it's doing a good job of building the universe and moving forward. Whereas the last few entries in Marvel just felt like we were just sort of like spinning our wheels.
Yeah, and to what Johnny already said about the A24, like A24, that's not going to detract from anyone. That's not going to keep people away, because the Big Bang Pow, like, that hasn't worked. There are several movies in the past that haven't worked. So the A24 isn't going to keep people out of the theater. I think they're leaning on the A24 to get some more people in the theater. So like I think it would have been different if it was like we were in the middle of phase 3 and they're like, hey, we're doing like an indie superhero movie. It's like, all right. But right now, I don't think your average moviegoer is nuanced enough to be like A24 pass. I think that's only going to be a positive.
It's too arty-farty for me, guy. Where's the explosions? Two things attached to this. Shannon, speaking of being in the theater, how about this? Are you going to get yourself a popcorn bucket, a Red Guardian popcorn bucket? There's 2 of them. Apparently, you can get the helmet with one, or you can get the limousine so you can share popcorn with other people. This has now become a massive trend. What do you think about this, Shannon? Are you going to get either of these buckets?
No, because there's only so much room in my home. the popcorn buckets becoming this thing. I love to see them at the theater. I love to see the joy that someone has when they have one, and they do this at theme parks too. Like the Universal's, what was it, 60th anniversary was last summer, and they had a popcorn bucket in the shape of the tram, and I'm like, that is the most boring popcorn bucket ever. Sometimes it's in the shape of a castle. It's in the shape of someone's head. This is in the shape of a van. I think the Red Guardian limo is a very funny idea. I wouldn't see, if you're a popcorn bucket collector, like, that's the one I need to get, is the jalopy from 1988. But again, I love that there is a market for this, and I love the enthusiasm that people get from it.
I don't get it, man. I was at Universal yesterday, and I was in the Nintendo store, and they had a Mario Kart popcorn bucket that you could get, and it was Mario in the cart, and it looked cool. But when you open the part to put the popcorn in, I mean, I could get more popcorn in this coffee cup than you could get in that popcorn bucket. So I'm like, I mean, I get you're not getting it for the popcorn, really, but like. And then like people get crazy. Like I saw a picture of a guy walking out of Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland carrying 32 Tauntaun popcorn buckets on his back because he like got as many as he could. And I was like, okay, guy, listen, I don't know. It's wild. Now, when we went to Disney 90s night, we did buy a Max dressed as Powerline from the Goofy movie popcorn bucket. So even though I think popcorn buckets are stupid, if you get the right one, I'll be like, this is dumb, but also I would like this popcorn bucket, please. So I get it, but it is a wild phenomenon that like you walk, like you go to the movie theater, you walk through the theme parks and you're like, people are wild. Like, what do you do with it when you get home?
I put it up on I have 4 of them right there on top of one of my.
Which ones do you have up there? Which ones do you have?
I have Godzilla Kong, which I thought was an awesome design. I have the Dune, the most recent Dune one. I have the Deadpool and Wolverine one, and I have the recent Black Panther one that they had released. So I have those.
Is the Dune one? Is that the sandworm, Johnny?
Yes, I have I found the
What do you use that one for, Johnny?
That one cost me $45. That one cost me $45, and I don't have 40, but I was like, all right, I got to get this one. But yeah, no, I'm not going to get either of these buckets though. Although it's tempting, the Red Guardian helmet for sure. One last thing before we leave Thunderbolts, gentlemen, I just was just perusing the internet as you guys were talking. Apparently,
I'm glad you were listening.
No, of course I'm listening, but I'm always trying to add on to what we're talking about. If there's anything I've missed. No, because when you guys talk, it sparks ideas, and I go, "Oh, what if? Is there more to add to this?" But apparently, this is an article dated today, this morning. Olga Kurylenko, talking to Screen Rant, was asked about the mysterious asterisk added to Thunderbolts and responded, "Quote: Well, they changed a couple of things." Then she laughs. That's all I can say, but that also doesn't say anything because obviously every movie is different and in every movie things change. But yeah, it will be different. We'll see. There's nothing I can say. So Taskmaster is dead, as you guys have intimated, and Olga is making it very clear why she hasn't appeared in any of the publicity stuff, including CinemaCon, for this movie, right? She's basically saying that now.
She was real sad she didn't get a director's chair in that Doomsday announcement.
So was Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who wanted to fire people, apparently. So yeah, Shannon, yes, she's pretty much dead. Yes, is she essentially confirming that?
You know, who knows? the way that Marvel is with their marketing. Someone put up a shot of the Thunderbolts. I think it was I don't know if it's New York they're in at the end, but like that big sequence that seems like it's gonna be towards the end of the movie. The framing of the shot, this was like a cinematographer, was just kind of like, this is terrible framing. So that tells me there are characters. They have digitally removed characters for the marketing. But Marvel has done this for years at this point. So
but like
means, who knows?
But like digitally removing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire from a shot for the trailer because you're trying to keep that secret is one thing. I don't think they're going to go to the work that we really don't want to reveal that Taskmaster is in that final battle. Like that's not what they're going to do. But I do think the internet is very funny. You just have to it is what it is, guys. Like we can't post set photos and analyze every trailer and read every interview and every article and go, my deductive reasoning has led me to believe that Taskmaster is going to die pretty early in this movie, and then go, Marvel, why are you revealing? Like, because I loved like when the Thunderbolts, when the Doomsday trailer came out and Taskmaster's chair wasn't there. People are like, well, why did they do that? Now we know she dies, and I'm like, guys, you can't comb the internet all day to figure stuff out and then get mad that you figured stuff out. Like, you just gotta go with it.
Yeah. And here's another on-set photo. Apparently Taskmaster is in the final battle there, as you can see.
Jesus Christ. Oh God, Photoshop. God,
what is she aiming at? There's a building about to fall on her.
Something really small. You're right. Why is she putting on her shoes? A building is falling. All right. Anyway, let's whatever. We'll see what's going on with Thunderbolts very, very soon for sure. But let's move on. Speaking of popcorn, yes. Go ahead, Michael. Yes, you want one more thing?
Just one. I literally heard a rumor from a source I can't say, but I did hear that. But I might be wrong about this one. This is a very shaky one, but that there was only going to be one post-credit sequence for Thunderbolts, but then they changed their mind, and that there now is two post-credit sequences for Thunderbolts, and the second one is going to be very awesome. That's what I heard.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
All right. So just between the three of us, what is it?
Sounds like Doom.
No, I don't know. I like literally like nobody. I didn't get told what it was. It's Mephisto. It's Mephisto.
Finally.
Hayward from WandaVision opens a door and says, "Is it time?" And then Mephisto says, "Yes." And then that's all they say.
Next stop, Hayward Island. Next stop. All right. Speaking of popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, there is some madness going on at these Minecraft screenings. I think all of us have seen. Have you guys seen the movie? We've all seen the movie, yes? And so, no? All right, fair. We haven't all seen the movie, Michael. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, there's some madness going on at these Minecraft screenings. Apparently, during the chicken jockey scene, kids are losing their damn minds. Teenagers are losing their damn minds, and cops have been called because when the chicken jockey scene happens, they are throwing popcorn buckets, spilling soda, jumping on seats, breaking out into fights, and even vomiting on the floor. Self-induced vomiting on the floor. The havoc has been so explosive that one New Jersey theater in Washington Township banned minors from seeing the PG flick unless a parent or adult was accompanying them into the actual theater and stayed for the whole film. The Township Theater said they're engaged in completely unacceptable behavior. Here are some shots of what this theater looks like in the aftermath. And if that isn't enough, here is a video of it. The chicken jockey, look at this, throwing popcorn all over the floor. Jack Black doing his thing. And then you see an actual live chicken in this theater. That is crazy to see this madness. And no, not everyone involved in this is actually knowing this is going to happen. Quite a few people have been commenting about being doused with popcorn and soda and water, and their children being doused with this stuff. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on this? Mikey, I guess I'll go to you first on this. Your thoughts, man.
So when I first heard about this, I tweeted like it was people should be happy that kids were going to the theater and excited. Like I was like because like what like a lot of theater owners were doing, and this is a typical reaction where you sort of overcorrect because so like the videos that we're seeing, like obviously none of that's okay. But what's happening now is theaters are posting like, we will not tolerate yelling, cheering, da 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 da, and like there reaches this point where theater owners are so afraid of that. What you just showed, that if kids get really excited in the theater, you got theater owners that are like, "What? Shut the fuck up! Get out of here!" And you're like, so like we need to like allow for the fact that like it's again like we need to allow for the fact that there is a level of excitement that is great that's happening. Like we have been talking since the pandemic about our theaters dead. And the fact that this movie came out and a specific demographic that typically is not going to movies, does not really watch a ton of TV, is on their phones and YouTube all day, are going to the theater and freaking out to a degree is great. Now, that being said, no, don't fucking throw popcorn and soda and vomit and bring a live chicken to a theater. Like, come on, like get your shit. So I sort of posted a thing that was like, if we can cheer for Avengers Endgame when the Portals moment happens, let these kids cheer for their chicken jockey. But then as videos kept coming out, I was like, oh, okay, delete that post because whoa. I'm not saying that we should throw popcorn and bring a live chicken. Like, that is insane. So I do get that, like, it's a thing, but like, there is also this is something that I think is going to continue to be a problem. And the problem is living in a culture where a lot of it's true of Minecraft, it's true of Fortnite, it's true of a ton of TikTok trends. Like, there is a generation growing up where everything is memeable.
Yes.
Like, if you like something and you like this music and you like this dance move and you like this thing, everybody's going to do it. It's the TikTok craze of doing the choreography from What Is This Feeling in Wicked, that like for 3 weeks, that's all you saw. Now that's cool. But like, if every time that happened in the theater, you had 18 people stand up and do the choreography, you'd be like, I'm really glad you learned the choreography. Sit the fuck down. So but it's going to continue happening as studios try and get this audience, because as much as like theater owners are like, fuck this. I don't think Warner Brothers is too upset about it right now. I think Warner Brothers is like, fucking great. Let them go and do what they want, because this box office is fucking killing us. Like, we love it. So it's going to be an interesting thing, because studios are going to keep going directly for this audience. And if this audience wants to continue doing this, it's going to be a thing. So maybe it's going to be great for theaters. Maybe it's going to make all the adults go, fuck this. I'm going to watch this on my couch.
Yeah, Shannon, it's so frustrating because Jared Hess, the director, said it's just literally cheering and throwing popcorn. Cops are getting called for popcorn. I've seen so many funny videos. It's great, especially when people are climbing on their friends' shoulders and standing up and cheering. What the fuck is wrong with you, in my opinion, to say stupid shit like that and encourage that kind of behavior? But as Michael said, nobody cares because they're making all this money. It's going to be cool until someone gets hurt. What are your thoughts on this shit?
Well, I like the chicken.
Yeah, like,
I'm worried for the chicken.
I didn't even get a chicken into the theater. Let's just start there.
I literally was wondering how they got that chicken in the theater and how they kept that chicken quiet all the way till the chicken jockey scene. I'm going to tell you, when I saw the chicken, I had more questions than concerns. I was like, wait a minute, how did this go down?
Yeah, right. Shannon, your thoughts on all this madness as the at times grumpiest of the three of us. What's your feeling on that?
At times.
So the level of mayhem that I've seen in videos, it reminds me of when they used to screen The Room out at the Sunset 5 here in LA. That but it was sort of an understood.
Yes,
there was an understanding amongst the audience. Like, these were showings late at night. Everyone knew what you were getting into. And even if you didn't know the specifics, someone brought you and said, this is going to be a wild experience. There's a moment where there's a frame photo of like some spoons. So people would bring Ziploc bags full of plastic spoons and they're throwing shit in the air. So that is kind of this, except I think plastic spoons are probably easier to clean up than buckets and buckets of butter-soaked popcorn and potentially chicken shit and vomit. Why that was the most surprising thing. I was like, people are wait a minute, like they're having too much popcorn, or they're having too much to drink, or they are actually doing the 2-finger salute and bowing before the portion of God. Like, I don't understand. I am not connected to this.
It's like Chunk in the Goonies.
Okay, so it's fake vomit, because that's not what I'm getting from the article.
Chuck did fake vomit and then made everybody else in the theater vomit. So there's real vomit on that floor in both stories. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, that looks like vomit to me. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
I mean, the experience of Endgame, the experience of a lot of Marvel movies, of Star Wars movies, a big IP movies. That is a great experience to have.
Yes.
And if you have been waiting for a film to be made off of a property that you adore, absolutely go in there, be excited, have fun. I don't mind people cheering. Just don't be an asshole, because remember, even though you're having a great time, you want to be considerate of the people next to you. Especially, this is a PG movie and parents are bringing their small children. So just don't be a dick. I mean, be considerate. Like, hold on. It's okay to go in and have fun. It's okay to go in and cheer, but don't pelt a 6-year-old with fake vomit. Like, that's That's not cool.
Yeah.
I do think, though, and I think this is true. Like, I get in this argument with my parents all the time, not about the Minecraft movie, but
are they bringing chickens to screen?
My parents take chickens to the movie theater a lot, and I tell them to stop.
Dr. Vogel.
Dr. Vogel. He's like, I want popcorn and I want my chicken, and that's how he watches his movies. No, I just think that like there's this thing that happens. So I saw Minecraft at the Grove on opening day, and the theater was packed, and there were kids, and they went apeshit at several points in the movie. Right. Nobody threw popcorn. Nobody did anything. They just went apeshit. And I do think this thing happens right now on social media. If you are a Republican, you're going to focus on certain things, and you're going to find the 5 videos that are the worst offenders and say, look at what everyone on the left is doing. And if you are a Democrat, you are going to find 5 videos on some subject and be like, look what MAGA's doing. It's the worst. And it's always like the worst possible version. So what we're seeing right now, when you show those videos and you show the person with the live chicken in these theaters that are demolished, what I'm worried about is that there's this thing all of a sudden that like kids don't know how to go to the movies and these kids are ruining the experience. And I wonder, and I could be wrong, but I just wonder if the majority of kids going to see this movie are yelling and screaming and going crazy for the things they love and not completely demolishing theaters. Like we're looking at these worst possible versions and going, fuck these kids with Minecraft. But like, is this like the exception or is it the rule? Because if it's the rule, yes, it's a giant problem. But I do think there's probably a lot of theater owners across the country that are watching these videos and are getting so hyper aware of it and hyped up that then kids start screaming and they're going to like, and like, I do think we have to let kids love the thing they love without destroying a theater. And I just, sometimes I worry that we do these things on the internet where we find the worst version and we go, this is not, fuck this. And we sort of overreact. And I just, that's like my concern.
Right, but at the same time, like you're talking about picking out a few specific examples where theaters did get demolished. Not every theater is posting signs saying, "Hey, we're calling the cops if you make any noise."
For sure.
Like I think you're talking about a few specific examples. So
it's just the typical thing. Like I don't want to be part of the tide of like we make a broad assumption like that we like because like there's going to be this thing that happens. It's going to be these articles are going to come out that say, you know, have kids ruined the theater experience. The Minecraft movie has made all of this money, but is it worth it? And like, there's going to be all these think pieces. And I just think to your, like, it's like, there's some basic rules. Don't throw shit.
Yeah.
Don't bring a live animal to the theater. Beyond that, fucking
don't bring a dead animal to the theater.
Okay, don't bring any animal to the theater unless it's a service animal, alive or dead. But like, but you know, I think that like, I just think that it's like, you're like,
no one wants a dead.
But, you know, I want to make sure that like I think everybody, theater owners and studios and everybody, if they can get this age demographic in theaters this engaged and this excited and yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering because they love what they're seeing on screen, great.
Right.
Don't demolish the theater.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. Well, we'll leave it there and we'll see what happens and we'll move on here. So let's move on to Fantastic Four, gentlemen. There's a fantastic article on the Fantastic Four here at EW. Highly recommend. It's a very extensive article. Highly recommend you all read it. Goes into the aesthetic and the retro futurism is the term they use here to describe their approach to Fantastic Four. But some of the things that have stood out is some of these approaches to the characters. For example, the Human Torch here, Joseph Quinn describes him as a man that leads with a lot of bravado, which can be a front sometimes, but he's also funny. But he also was talking about in previous iterations of him where he was branded as this womanizing devil-may-care guy. But is that sexy these days? I don't think so. This version of Johnny is less callous with other people's feelings, and hopefully there's a self-awareness about what's driving that attention-seeking behavior. Shackman says people forget that he's really smart. And then with Reed is described as a combination of Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and Robert Moses. And with Sue, they've made some changes that she's going to be the most scientifically intelligent person that she is. Oh, sorry, the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet is how they're describing her. And Vanessa Kirby talks about the fact that one of the things I love most from Sue's history is when she becomes Malice and all her dark stuff comes out. I was obsessed with that chapter of her life So I wanted to make sure there were tons of malice. I'm really interested in the mess of femininity and how can you be both? How can you be all these things? And she also talks about the fact that she's playing as an older woman with a child, and that's something new in the world of superheroes. And all of that. And then we go into Doom and whatever, but I will talk about that in a second. What do you, Shannon, what do you think about these new approaches in a way to Johnny Storm, to Sue, and a little bit to Reed as well?
I mean, for Sue, calling her the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet, that doesn't seem like a big change to me. I mean, granted, these characters have been around for over 60 years, so they go through changes throughout a comics history. But I think, across the board, I think Sue is typically looked at as the most level-headed member of the group. So that doesn't seem like a big stretch to me. Over to Johnny, I think they point out something actually valid in that if this is a guy on a space mission, on some sort of shuttle, on a ship, you're not sending a dummy up there. Like, all four of these people are going to be exceptionally intelligent. I mean, and him leading with bravado, I mean, that is what, like, he's literally a hotshot. Like, that's what Johnny does. I mean, in terms of them removing like the more womanizing angles, I mean, I'm not an avid Fantastic Four reader, so I can't say if that's been a common trait for over 60 years. I mean, I know definitely in the Chris Evans version in that first movie that they leaned into that a little bit.
Yeah.
But also your general movie-going public, most of them are exposed to the Fantastic Four through those Tim Story movies. And the last one came out in 2007. So it's been a minute. So I think making alterations to the characters for this particular version, I don't think that's a bad thing. And based off of the alterations that they're saying that they've made in the article, they don't seem like that big a swing to me. I think these are all appropriate and work for the world.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on this, Michael? Because they also mentioned that Sue will be a politician during this version of the 60s on this planet. So the stories that had come out that Sue was going to be kind of the de facto lead of this film, and it certainly seems from this article that's the angle they're going with. What are your thoughts on some of these comments here?
I think what's great about this, and again, just hearing from friends who work at studios, like everyone internally is like stupidly excited for this movie.
Yeah.
Like they're like hopeful for Thunderbolts. They are stupidly excited. And what this article kind of reveals that kind of ties into some of these bigger changes is that it's not just that they're doing, hey, here's somewhere else in the multiverse where the Fantastic Four is. Everything from the art direction to the story to the concept of who the Fantastic Four are in this world is based around this retro-futuristic 60s vibe. So I think one of the things that Matt Shackman says in the article that's really interesting is he was imagining a world where it's not Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong who are the first to be on the moon. It's Reed and Sue. It's the Fantastic Four. Picture a world where in the 60s, when all of this stuff was happening and the space race was happening, instead of the people that we got going up there, you got these four going up there and getting superpowers and becoming truly the most famous people in the world. And that what they say is, in all of the World's Fair kind of vibe back in the 60s, where they were like, we're going to have flying cars and robots that service our food. They were like, this is a world where that wasn't fiction, because you had Reed Richards, who was so smart that he built all of that stuff, which is why we have this world that has retro-futuristic robots and flying cars, and the whole vibe of it is like, it's not just that Reed Richards happens to live in a world that reflects that 60s vibe. He's the reason for that vibe. And that similarly, Sue Richards in this version starts the Future Foundation, which is the Fantastic Four's charitable foundation in the comics that Jonathan Hickman created, but saying that Sue is responsible for that aspect. And Sue is responsible for kind of using the amazing stuff that Reed builds to sort of set the world right and make the entire world kind of like peaceful. That the Fantastic Four, it's not just that they live in a world that has this vibe. They are responsible for this vibe. And that's like one of the big things about the article that I thought was really interesting. And even that says, that they've sort of done such a good job that it could be a boring movie because there's not a lot going on until you have the stuff come up that comes up. And I think that's really great. I think Shannon's absolutely right. Look, I don't think anybody's going to say, oh, I can't believe you didn't make Johnny Storm a misogynist, womanizing piece of shit. Like, you've got to adjust, you've got to adjust that. But I think what they've really tapped into is Johnny Storm was a misogynist piece of shit when they made those movies and has been in the comics, but it always was because he talked a big game because of the insecurities underneath.
Right.
And whether he was sleeping with a bunch of women and doing what he was doing or whatever, it was always because Johnny Storm talks a big game and has insecurities underneath that he doesn't want to reveal. And so everything that Joseph Quinn says sort of goes, okay, well, you took off that top layer that nobody really wants anymore anyways. But it's not like sometimes where you replace it with something that is just like, wait, who the fuck is this? Like they're getting to the meat of the character. And everything they say about Ben Grimm and where he's from and where those inspirations from, you're like, yeah, you get it. And with Sue Storm, it's like, yeah, Shannon's right. There's been years of Sue Storm. And when she first came out back in the day as Invisible Girl, she didn't have a lot to do. But Sue Storm in the comics now is like one of the most powerful females in the Marvel universe. And the fact that they're leaning into, she's also one of the only superheroes that's also a mom, that the family aspect is super important, and that by all accounts, her being a mom and Franklin Richards are going to be a big part of this story. I think it's like, it's not, the way Shannon says it is, it doesn't sound like a big swing. I think the concept of this movie is a big swing, but when they start talking about what they're doing, all the adjustments don't feel like huge adjustments because what they're doing just feels correct. Like they're getting rid of a lot of the stuff. And the other thing, and I know you were like, we'll talk about the Doom stuff in a minute, but the other thing that he said that I think was super smart, and this kind of, although some people get mad about it, I think this is why the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies work so well, is Matt Shackman says every other version of this Fantastic Four tried to do an origin story for the Fantastic Four, an origin story for Doctor Doom, and have the Fantastic Four fight Doctor Doom in one movie. And he was like, we are neither doing an origin story nor a Doctor Doom story. So we have wide open space to tell this big epic story that we want to tell, because we're not hampered by going through the, here's this team, they do this, oh no, they've got powers. Like that's already happened. And I think that's going to allow them just like a really wide open playing field to tell a big epic story.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. And Shannon, I think you made a lot of excellent points as well. And I think you nailed it though, Mike, is that they're stripping away to get to the essence of the characters. And they're adapting it to our society nowadays. We're a much more open society, talking about mental health, talking about what's at the core of why you're doing the things that you're doing. A lot of people have done therapy. A lot of people read these self-help books. I mean, we just had a Super Bowl where one of the main receivers was literally reading a self-help book on the sidelines throughout the playoffs in between plays in order to get him in the right mental space to be the best. And he went and won a Super Bowl. So there's this thing where we're opening the door. So the approach here with Johnny, I like that. It's that, well, we're not just going to focus on the fact that he get ladies. It's why does he feel this? Why does he have this hole inside of himself? What is it about? Does he feel overshadowed by his sister? Does he feel like he doesn't measure up? And so those are things that are relatable and universal. And I like that approach to it, changing the gender dynamics here a little bit, where you're having Sue leading the way on this, I think is great as well. And I love the fact that she talks about being a mom as being a thing that's really important and not seen in Marvel movies yet. And the other side, not that, we don't have moms, because obviously Angela Bassett in Black Panther, but it's more a matter of this kind of this age and this level of mom, I think is going to be fascinating to see her interpretation. But also when she talks about having elements of malice within her already, that teases you that there's a bigger plan here for Sue Storm in the MCU, going past this movie, way out into the MCU in phases. So we've got a long history here that we're going to explore with Vanessa Kirby's interpretation. I think that's exciting on so many levels. I love that politics are being weaved into this. And I love the description of Reed in the way he's approaching things, which is much more analytical, much more that approach. So how is this all going to play itself out in the gender dynamics between them all and the family dynamics between them all? But as you mentioned, Michael, go ahead.
I was going to say, in terms of where they're potentially going to go, like something that Shackman says in the article, talking about
Yeah.
Reed and Sue. Like if he's the most scientifically intelligent person, then she is the most emotionally intelligent person on the planet.
Right.
Between the two of them, they're building an idealistic society. So when you look at where they are going to go, that their world is going to be like, it looks like from the trailer, it looks like they are succeeding. Mm-hmm. And you look at where they're going to go, that world is probably not going to exist anymore. That you take these people who haven't been on their back foot, who have been winning, and you put them in the most tumultuous situation possible. Like that makes for really interesting storytelling, like watching someone's point of view have to shift.
I agree, Shannon, and something Michael alluded to too. If they're responsible for the world and they can't defend the world, then how does the world turn on them, and how much guilt do they carry afterwards when the world falls apart? That's going to be real interesting if that's what happens. But with the two villains here, I'm going to read the quick quotes and then we'll get thoughts because I know we're running out of time. Galactus, Shackman said, I didn't want to just use motion picture for Galactus. I wanted to actually have someone there embodying the part. So we've built an entire costume for him, and we've done a lot of photography testing to figure out how do you make sure that the scale is correct? How do you film Mount Rushmore? And with Dr. Doom, he mentioned Dr. Doom here. I'm wearing the shirt. Doom's a great character, but he takes up a lot of air. Other film adaptations have done both an origin story in Doom, which is what Michael was referring to. We're doing neither, and that allows us to look at them from a fresh perspective. So these are very interesting approaches they're taking to both of these characters. What do you guys think about these comments?
Well, it's also clear in the article that like the original plan probably would have been Dr. Doom in the second movie. Like they were definitely going to build a Dr. Doom until everything happened with Kang and everything moved around and we got Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. So now it's a whole different thing. So that's definitely an area where Matt Shackman came in and probably pitched out his vision of where the Fantastic Four franchise would go. And that has definitely sort of shifted. Yeah. The Galactus thing is interesting because motion capture just seems like what you would do. Like, okay, you have a giant fucking cosmic being invading Earth. Like you're going to do mocap the same way they do with Thanos or anything else. So the fact that they're like, no, we put him in a suit and we shot him and we are going to put him, like what that's going to look like is wild. Yeah. I just, it's either like, I'm trying to picture it in my mind. And I mean, given how excited everyone is, it sounds like they probably figured it out and it looks cool, but like, that could also look real weird. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But a little bit back to what you were saying before about this concept of them having like worked together to build this idealistic society. One thing that kind of intrigues me as we like move the MCU forward, if the MCU does get back on track, is the idea of this team of superheroes that were the only superheroes. Because like, they also made it really clear. This is not a world where we're going to see their version of Iron Man, their version of Spider-Man. The Fantastic Four is it in this world. They are the world. They are the world's superheroes. And to have these people that sort of turned their world into this idealistic society that had all of these inventions and all of these advancements and politically, like things were kind of working well, and dumping them back in whatever the MCU is post Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And having them want to sort of do that again, but have all of these issues and superheroes and villains to deal with, like that's really compelling. That's compelling in the way of like, that's not that slight aspect is not something that really exists in the comics because they've always been in the world. They live in the world of the MCU and mutants and Avengers and Doctor Doom and everything else. But having them go from this idealistic sort of world into a world that has all that shit and going, well, can we build what we built back home again? Can we do this here? Can we help these people? And being challenged by that could be a really interesting new twist on the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, agreed. What are your thoughts on this, Shannon? What are your thoughts on these, the way they're approaching both of them?
I mean, to the Doom side, I mean, just because Dr. Doom is not the primary antagonist of the film, that doesn't mean he doesn't exist in the world. I think we're all still a little fuzzy on where Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is going to come from in the multiverse. Like he could come from anywhere. Could he come from this world? Absolutely. So I think I think that goes along with the other heroes as well. And like, this is just me speculating. I mean, just because Iron Man doesn't exist, that doesn't mean Howard Stark doesn't exist. That doesn't mean people who never became heroes didn't exist. They're just not heroes. But again, this is complete speculation on my part. And to the Galactus thing. So when we saw that concept footage, that test reel footage at Comic-Con last year, I mean, there was a very clear shot of Galactus looking inside the Baxter building. So this combination that they're going to do, that they've got him in the suit, I think they will have to do some sort of motion capture. Like, I don't think they're not using it at all. I think they want to lean into Ralph Ineson as much as they can.
Yeah.
But I don't think it says that they're not using motion capture at all. I think bringing Galactus to life, they're going to use.
I mean, doesn't it say I didn't want to use motion capture? What's the exact quote?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He said I didn't want to just use motion capture.
Just use motion capture.
Yeah. I wanted to actually have someone there embodying the part.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great point, Shannon, because like if you look at this shot, as you were saying, this is the shot here, right, of him peering into, I guess
right there.
Yeah, you can see the shot there of him peering into it. So maybe there's elements of that for sure. So yeah.
I mean, I do think to the other points Shannon made. I mean, Matt Shackman, I mean, again, not that he's 100% right, that maybe there was a Howard Stark, maybe there was this, but Matt Shackman's been pretty clear. Like, this is not a movie where you're going to get like any cameos or any references to anything else. Like, so even if it exists, I don't think it's this isn't a movie where you're going to be like mentioning Howard Stark or mentioning these people. Well, yeah, Bruce Banner, but he never became the Hulk. Like, I think they are free and clear, not touching it. And then on the Tony Stark of it all, or the Doctor Doom of it all, and again, very fuzzy, and Shannon's 100% right, we don't know, but it does seem like what the Russos have intimated, and what we're intimating is that the reason that they're hiring Robert Downey Jr. is this version of Doom is in some way tied to a variant of Tony Stark. So what that leads me to believe is that no, there's no Doctor Doom in this world. There's no Tony Stark in this world. Like if it's sort of like if Matt Shackman is saying we've got no cameos, we've got no mentions of other things, the Fantastic Four is it, that's what this universe has. And the Russos are saying our take on Doom is it's some kind of variant of Tony Stark or tied to Tony Stark in some way, then I am guessing that there is no Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four's universe. There is no Tony Stark in the Fantastic Four's universe. And whatever's going to happen in Doomsday, that version of Tony/Doom is coming from somewhere completely different. But that's just my guess.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee that it's Galactus who destroys their world. It could be a Doom, the Doom variant doing his thing of multiverse jumping and destroys their world, which begins the rivalry between them. I don't know. There's all, as you said, we don't know if he's even going to appear. It might be a thing you find out later that it was all because of Doom that this happened, and that could be something that adds to it. He'll probably be in one of those post-credit scenes in Fantastic Four instead of in the actual movie itself.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We don't know. All right, and just a big shout out if you want to read this. It's in EW. It's in the digital version as well online. Christian Halub wrote this article, and there's a lot of really fantastic stuff in here. Again, not just on the characters, but also the approach to the design and the style and the aesthetic, which I found to be really fun read. So highly suggest you all take a look at that. All right, well, there you go. That's our episode of the Geek Buddies here for this Friday. Thank you all so much for joining us. Shannon, what do we have to tell them?
Yeah, I'd like to follow us on social media. On Twitter, it's at geek_buddies. On Instagram, at the_geek_buddies. If you'd like to follow me on social media, on Twitter, it's at Shannon_McClung. On Instagram, it's Shannon the Geek Buddy. If you'd like to follow Mr. Vogel, it is at MKToon. If you'd like to follow Mr. Rocha, it is at The Rocha Says.
Mike A.
Go ahead and smash that like button below. Subscribe to Johnny's Outlaw Nation page. Check out all the amazing content he has got there. Leave your comments below. What do you think of live chickens in movie theaters, Thunderbolts, Supergirl, and Fantastic Four? Let us know in the comments below. And if you are listening to us on a podcast, go ahead and leave us some stars and comments. They'll go up in the rankings. And as always, the best thing you can do is retweet this video, post it on your socials, send it to your friends, and tell them to hang out with your buddies, the Geek Buddies.
There you go. All right. Thank you all so much. Don't forget, we dropped an episode a couple days ago. If you want to catch up on stuff we're talking about there as well, a lot of great geeky content in there as well for you all to enjoy. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of the
Geek
Buddies. Hey!